I'm going to make the same joke I made just a minute ago when we tried to record a podcast for the first time, and then I was like, here, let's just start again. I was just saying there, fun fact about the guy who invented the microphone, his real name was Michael Raffone. Thank you very much. Michael Raffone also sounds like maybe a guy in like a Martin Scorsese film back in the day who ratting everyone. Michael Raffone, the rat.
Yeah.
Speaking of Michaels, I've got Big Mike here with me.
How's it going?
Sitting perched on a stool like Rod Stewart. I've also got Dan Quick, Dan, I don't know if the podcast we recorded without you has already gone out where I was talking about your height.
It has, yeah, it's gone.
It has, and you heard it?
Yes.
Did you have any strong feelings on that, like good or bad? Were you offended that I... And by the way, because I said that I'd never really seen you standing up.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that part.
Well, no, I know I have seen you stand up. I just can't connect you with a height. And like even now that you're sitting in that chair, I still don't know if you're like 5'4", maybe 6'8". So what is your official height?
Officially 5'11".
Yeah, but unofficially what?
Unofficially 6'3".
You're making yourself 6 inches bigger. Michael's calling himself Big Mike. Everyone's just trying to get way more street cred on this podcast. But there it is. I'm wearing a gilet and I'm perfectly alright with that. It's acceptable. A lot of the time I look at gilets and I think as long as it's like a light gilet and it looks like it's supposed to be a gilet, that's fine. But it's when it looks like just a coat without sleeves, that's when I go, that's stupid. And this I feel like is maybe verging on the edge of both of those things. But nobody's mad about it. Sippers, welcome to this episode. Before we get properly into it, I'd like you to do me a favour, if you can. If you don't have hands, this one's kind of understandable. You want to take a back seat on this. If you would like to go to Apple Podcasts and rate and review Tea With Me, that would be great. Because the more people that give it like a nice 5-star review and say something dead on, the more that happens, the more the rainforest is saved. Okay? And I don't want anyone to quote me on that or ask me any more questions about it, but it's like an unofficial thing we have going with the Conservation Society of the Rainforest. And that is a real place. Conservation of COT Coder. We've been working with those guys pretty closely. And look, you leave a 5-star review, all I'm saying is a chimpanzee is going to see Wednesday. So I'm not, by the way, that probably makes it sound like if you don't, I'm going to kill chimpanzees on Wednesdays. I'm not going to kill chimpanzees. Something struck me on the way to this podcast after I tried to climb over a wall to get here. Because basically I parked near the podcast studio and then you guys don't need to know this, but then I tried to hop a wall to get over here thinking I was, I don't know, 9. And then I realised I'm 31 and there was just a woman looking at me and it got a bit weird. But do you know the law firm? Like just in the middle of the high street
I thought
here?
you were going to say the law against hopping over small walls.
28 years. It's so excessive.
It's just an age limit. You just can't.
My dentist used to always say to me, even up until I was like in my mid-20s, I genuinely left his practice because of this. He used to say, after any, like, you know, if they give you like the laughing gas or like, what do you call the stuff they give you in the dentist? The gas and air? Nitrous oxide? What sort of dentist you went to?
Yeah.
No, you know, like the dentist gas, anytime he did like a fill-in for me or anything like that, he used to say to me after, and he was being serious, he would go, don't be climbing any trees. What? I'm 26. Don't be climbing any trees. Oh, well, that's my drive home ruined because I was going to pull over at Tollymore Forest Park and get up a redwood.
Hold on, if he didn't want you climbing trees, he was letting you drive home?
No, well, my mummy was driving me probably.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. So on the way here, I looked in the window of this. I shouldn't have said law firm. I mean, there isn't that many law firms in Hollywood, and there definitely isn't that many on my way here. But all I'm saying is this. I used to work with this girl, and I'm trying to figure out if it's her that works there. But I don't know if it is. And if it is, she might look slightly different. But then again, a lot of young women nowadays are looking different. If you understand. So what I'm saying is, you might see a young woman in Belfast in 2011, and then you might see her in 2020, and she might look very, very different thanks to science.
Right.
They're all getting the lips done.
Okay.
All right.
They're getting the lips done, and you'll find it's a lot of groups of friends. They all have it. So a lot of them are getting that.
This
So
is far more normal than where my head was going.
what were you thinking?
I was thinking like
You're thinking Face Off and Nicolas Cage. John Travolta.
made taller and like,
Well,
extreme.
Dan's already had that procedure done.
I recommend it to anybody who's thinking about it.
No, I'm trying to figure out if this is this girl I used to work with, because I need to figure out if I should do a wave or not. Because if it is her, I'm walking past pretty much every day and not waving, and she's going, "There's a guy I used to work with." Bear in mind though, she's not waving at me. But if it isn't her, I just need to know so I can move on. But if it is her, that's interesting because she looks different. Okay, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Park it there, leave it at that. And the reason I'm paranoid about that is because we were in Homebird Cafe that's where this week's tea is from, but they're not paying us, so let's not dwell on that. Sometimes they give us the discount because we're within the same office building, and we're supposed to technically get a discount, but I didn't really ask for it.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward if you have to ask for a discount.
But they said about it, by the way, you qualify for this thing, just make sure you mention it. And I think I mentioned it once or twice, and then I hoped it would continue as an automatic thing. You know what I mean? Where like, if you've established it once or twice, that discount, then it just always gets. But I think now I've left it too long. And if
They
it
should give you a
starts-
card.
What?
Some kind of
Yeah,
card
card.
that you
But then,
flash.
but then the money to manufacture the card would probably offset the discount you're gonna ultimately get. Well, we get discount in our new place at the place that's near us.
Mm-hmm.
We do.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about percentages.
Don't know yet, but I'll figure
Find
it
out.
out. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, I know what it costs for a coffee, but I don't know what the original price was, so I don't know what the discount is. You know what I mean?
Well, anyway, I was in Homebird a couple of days ago. I thought I saw somebody I knew. This person had their back to where I was sitting. So I think they've spotted me. So I think I need to give a wave on my way out because I've left it too long to give a wave from where I'm sitting. So it's like I'll do a goodbye wave on my way past. So I walked over to the table. I don't know this person that well. I walked over to the table, leant over and round them, and waved back at their face and said, "See ya." At that point, on the yeah, I realised I never met this person in my entire life. Now, this person was probably young enough to maybe potentially be aware of who I am. Okay? Because I do say a lot of times, do you not know who I am? This person looked like they may know who I was. So maybe when I walked in, this person was like, "There's that dickhead that does those videos." Then they're leaving the conversation going, and he came right up to my face, leant around it with his big moon head, and went, "See ya." What a weird thing to do. So yeah, I need to figure that out. I've been thinking about this thing recently. By the way, I've got loads of listeners' questions this week, so we'll get properly stuck into them. But I've been stuck in a wee bit of a like a head swamp in the last couple of days because I was reading this thing about how do we know, and maybe you two guys can help me out with this. How do we know that we're not just a projection of somebody's mind?
This is the brain in a vat theory. Like, how do you know that you're not just a brain in a jar somewhere and you think?
Well, that's my question.
Yeah.
That's my question to you. How so basically the thing, and I don't know 1,000% of it, and bear in mind I got a double E in my science GCSE, double award, but we could just be somebody else's like dream or a thought.
Yeah. It's a bit heavy for a Tuesday, but we'll go for it.
No,
I'd
but
say.
so yeah, it's a bit like when you're in a dream and you go, this is real, right? And the dream only lasts for 20 seconds or 2 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it is. Like, how do we know that this isn't just a bigger version of that, and we're just in somebody else's dream? But then again, if you're in somebody else's dream, you wouldn't control
Yeah, I think it's more likely that how do I know you're real?
Whoa.
You know?
So you think you're convinced you're real,
Absolutely.
but you don't know
I
about
don't know.
everyone else?
You Michael.
Yeah.
Like Mike, is he actually there?
There's another fun one called Last Thursdaysm. Have you heard of this?
Last Thursdayism?
Yeah.
No.
Which is, how do you know that everything didn't just pop into existence last Thursday? Like, how do you know? How do you actually physically know?
But explain that.
There's no way that you can. It's one of those
No, because I remember like 2
unfalsifiable
Thursdays
things.
ago, I was, you know.
But how do you know that memory didn't just create itself last Thursday? Everything just came in. There's no like, you can't prove it. You can't like physically.
What about videos and all that kind of thing?
All invented last Thursday. Everything just went last Thursday.
What about the dinosaurs?
Yeah,
Last Thursday.
last Thursday.
Busy day.
But
Yeah.
the idea of being a projection, do we then have to be our own projections? Like, I know that I can't be a projection of your mind because I'm making a decision to go like this. Ah!
But in my head, my projection of you would say something just like that. Oh no, I know that I'm real, but you're not real.
Do you like? Cause
I feel that I'm real. Yes.
the Truman Show, the film, made me go, oh, this is me. This is me. And sometimes I honestly think, like, you know when you meet like a full nutcase, sometimes I think they're
an actor.
they've fucked up. No, sometimes I think, you know the way of like,
Oh, like a glitch.
if
They're
you're away,
they made a mistake.
yes,
Right, right, right.
and like a homeless person like tries to come up to you and grab you, whatever. I think that's someone who's potentially trying to say to me, "Get out!"
Sail out to sea and go through the.
I've definitely had the. I don't know about the projection thing because I maybe don't understand it that well, but the Truman Show thing, definitely I've thought of, and I've also thought of this. Say your mind is like the Truman. Say real life for me is the Truman Show. Sometimes I think, you know the way like you fall out of touch with friends from school or whatever, you don't see someone for ages. Sometimes I think they're an actor and they must be raging that they're not in the show because they were such a big part of the show and now they're not in the show,
Yeah.
but they are an
They
actor.
got written out.
Yeah, so they're just having to sit in a house and wait to be in scenes. But I'm not going to be in scenes. Like, do you think if you make plans with someone and you're like, here, like next Thursday, let's go and do this, the person's like, great, and I give a great performance in this, and then you're like, hey, I can't make it. They're like, for fuck's sake,
Yeah.
just sitting in a big trailer somewhere.
If the whole world knows and watches the Shane Todd Truman
Yeah.
Show,
Yeah.
do you think they have awards for those actors too? So there's like that you don't know about.
Oh, the dodgy thing about that is that somehow I would stumble across that award ceremony.
Not like the Truman Show, he's in his own little bubble world.
Bubble. Yeah. Oh,
But there are people trying to tell them that it's real. So someone would book you to host the awards show. They're an insider. They book you to host it, and it's all your just footage
No.
of you.
they couldn't negotiate the fee. I'd end up like, they'd be like, mate, you need to host this. I'm like, how much are we talking? They're like, trust me, it's really important. I'll put another O on it if it's important. I'd be the guy who gets stuck in his own world just because he wanted an extra 40 quid. I mean, that's weird. That it's also weird to think if my life is the Truman Show, right? You've been in it for about 16 years. So you're a major,
I'm a lead.
major character.
You must be on great money because I'm only on.
Yeah,
Starter money.
You're a new character.
Yeah.
But maybe there are people who aren't actors in it. Maybe they're just people who get paid to live in the world, but they're actually not actors. Maybe you were just being paid to live in the world. I'm like, hey, I met you really awesome. I'm like, come and do this podcast. Maybe then you're taking acting lessons now, and maybe you're getting a bit too big for your boots. You know, maybe that happens to people because the actors know what they're coming in for. But maybe people like you who are, although for all I know, you're an actor and you're playing a Rudy Volster studio manager. I
Maybe
don't
I'm
know.
just really good at acting.
You're doing a great job, man.
You're
Thanks.
doing a great job.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Take it from me, an experienced veteran
Yeah.
in the field. You're doing really well.
yeah, like, and I think you maybe didn't even want to be an actor, but you've been in this for. Although I think you've been in this for so long.
I think that I was just in the room and somebody grabbed me and was like, "You're now his friend in this.
Yeah.
Can you?"
But-
and I was like, "Well,
but
I'm going for my lunch."
I think you're like Jesse out of Breaking Bad. Like you become like all of a sudden you're like this big actor in this show. You've been in it for years. It's a really popular show, but I don't think you would be good in other stuff.
No, it's really hard to be low key like act low key
Yeah.
all the time. I'm not really an in your face kind of guy, you know.
And are the actors I'm seeing on TV and film and stuff, are they real actors? Like, I think, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino and stuff. But are they just are they playing actors in my world?
So what's Al Pacino's real name?
Al Pacino's real name?
The actor that plays Al Pacino. It's like
Clive Simpson. He's Clive Simpson, like. He's from Derry. I have no idea. If, being serious, right, if my life up until now has been like the Truman Show, can I just go, like, I think I've been a good sport with it, and can I not get out of it? Because if it is, just let me say, okay, I'm not going to sue anyone, I'm not going to kick off, I'm not going to launch lawsuits.
Then what would the whole world's entertainment do? Like, no one would have any entertainment. The Truman Show was like the only show that everyone watched.
Right.
So then everyone
Big
would
Mike's
be...
on great money at the minute, so he doesn't want to give it up.
I would say that, wouldn't I?
He's been rebranded as... Yeah, do you know what's funny? If it is true, you two are sitting here being like, haha, yeah, whatever. But in the back of your head, you're like, ah.
They're in our ears right now going, get him away from this topic. Move on.
Okay, well, we'll move on from this topic. I made a New Year's resolution. Did either Dan or Big Mike have any New Year's resolutions?
Don't really believe in it.
No.
It's just one of those things. If it's something that you're meant to do, you'll do it.
Yeah, but sometimes you have to properly make a point to go, I'm going to do this thing or not do this thing.
Yeah. The date is an arbitrary thing, though, I think. It's just like, I tried to do it. That's why I'm just raging at
What
myself.
did you try and do?
Go on a diet and get healthy. But it didn't work.
You're saying that like you're a real big fat mess sitting over there. You look good, like.
Man, I'm an actor, remember? So I'm just telling you. I'm just being contrary. They're paying me to be contrary.
You're playing a guy who's 10, 11 stone, but in reality you're 49 stone. You're such a good actor.
It's like a reverse fat suit. They're just sucking me into this.
My New Year's resolution was to read more books. To actually sit and read. I like the idea that I'd sit and read in a coffee shop, and somebody would come up to me and go, what are you reading? And I go, while they're just waiting for a takeaway or something, and I go, get the fuck out of my face. It's not your business. And then I go back to whatever I was reading, because I used to read a lot whenever I was a kid. Like, I remember my mum got me, I don't know if my mum got me this or the book was just floating about the house, but there was a thing called the Children's Bible, which was like a large Bible illustrated for children. And like, I was never brought up like by my mum, my dad, anyone to be in any way religious. Like, we didn't go, none of us went to church or anything. I don't think anyone in the family does. And I said that like with the mafia. But I remember getting this book and being well into it because I liked the stories. So I was maybe like 6 or 7. And I was like, as stories, these are brilliant. They're like the Blind Man of Jericho, the David versus Goliath, all that, great stories. But I was just taking them for what it was. If you'd taken time to ask me as a child and gone, are you like a young Christian who really into this? I'd have gone, I'm not. I respect people's beliefs, but I'm enjoying these stories. But because this was such a big book, it was taking me so long to read, I used to take it everywhere. So with hindsight, I look like a weird child preacher who just walked about everywhere with my big large book to preach the Lord's name. So I remember I used to just be really into reading and writing stories. I guess kind of do write stories still with sketches and stand up and stuff, but I want to read more because I do the calm nighttime stories.
Oh yeah, what's that like? I've been looking at that.
Right, so I would have always dismissed it. I mean, if you had
What is it?
Right, it's basically an app
yeah.
that has like meditation music, all that kind of thing. That's a pessimistic nod of the
Like
head.
whales making whale noises and that kind of.
Yes,
Rain,
and sometimes
rain on leaves.
and then whales making monkey noises as well and stuff. They're not great at it, but it just still sounds like whales. But what it has, it's like meditation music, the sounds of the ocean, all that. But then there's also like rain against the window. There's storm. There's all that kind of thing. And I would always have been very like, nah. Exactly like your look there. I was like, no. And then some people, like adult friends of mine, not that I have child friends. Well, I have.
Move on
I've
quickly.
children I'm indifferent to. I'm not like he's my mate or he's not my mate. I have kids I like. You know what I mean? Like, but I just like them as in like a friend way, but I wouldn't really call them mates. Like I'm not gonna like phone them up and go, "Do you fancy going out and doing something?" If I want to socialize in a way with each other, I'll straight away phone the parents first of all, and the parent will come along as well. So that's what I'm saying basically.
We can cut all that out. It's fine.
Don't leave it in, just in case they ever bring me up on this. But they have nighttime stories on this read by men and women for adults. And if you'd come up to me, we've been friends here for 16 years, if you come up to me and I went, "What did you do last night?" You go, "Oh, I just had an early night, just put a sleep story on," I would have roasted you until you were blackened, my friend. But I just stuck this on one night. So my wife has the app. I stuck it on one night. She said about the nighttime stories, and I put one on, and it was Stephen Fry reading about the lavender fields of France. Jesus Christ. He said about 4 words, and I was like, this is bullshit, this. Just totally got in the deepest sleep of all time. And then, so we just had like, you get like 2 free stories on it. So we're listening to those, and then we just like bought the library, and it is brilliant. Like I use it maybe like once a week, and
Does it just play like in the room, or do you have earphones in?
Plays in the room. You definitely could put earphones in, but it plays in the room.
Yeah.
I can't sleep with headphones in.
See, I have to have something on, but my
you?
girlfriend's like a bad sleeper, so for something on, like she'll like sleep talk react to the thing. Like if the TV was on, she would have a conversation with the TV in her sleep, and that would like disturb her sleep. So I have to have earphones.
Has she ever said anything that's made you? Oh Jesus!
She'll like have an argument or like be laughing, having great crack with whatever's going on.
Hey, I couldn't.
Yeah,
I'd be in a different. That would freak me.
So
if I was in bed asleep, and I heard laughter in the room, I'm gone.
What about screaming and pointing? Hey, who's that over there? Who's that man over there? I'm like,
No.
There's no one there. So there is right there, eyes open. You know, this is.
Nah, I can't hack that.
So therefore, no distractions in the room. So I have to have my earphones on.
Oh my god.
But then I wake up and I'm like choked by them, and they're upside down and inside out. But I always feel like they would never actually, strangle me.
Your headphones?
Yeah, like iPhone earphones.
Oh yeah. I mean,
not fucking.
Yeah. Your helmet,
Craig David.
Yeah. So there's like a library of about 50 stories, and some are actors. Like Matthew McConaughey does one, and sometimes they'll read, like, they might read about something, like about butterflies. An actor might be just telling you about butterflies,
But pretty much just the most boring stories they can find. If
No,
it sends you to sleep.
No, because some of them are like Gulliver's Travels. I've tried to listen to about 12 times in the last couple of weeks, but I can't get through it. So it's like 20-minute story, 5 minutes in, I'm done. And last night I listened to it for the first time, but it defeated the purpose because I was purposely trying to stay awake to listen to the end of it. And then by the end I was like wide awake. But yeah, it's like some of them are like fairy tale stories. Some of the, like Matthew McConaughey does one. His is actually underwhelming. I thought his would be great. He'd be like that, But it's not. John McEnroe reads the rules of tennis. Which is, and you heard his shipping forecast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who does that just reads the shipping forecast, and it just puts you out like a light. Do you sleep well?
Yeah, usually.
So you don't need anything.
No.
See, the weird thing about this is, as much as I like it, I'm worried I'm getting to the dependency level where I need a man to read me a story to go to sleep. So I worry that, like, if the phone died or whatever, I would have to, like, call at my neighbour's door and go, "Can you read me a story, mate?" And he'd have to come and read it into my ear. But
I like what we've talked about before. You used to go to sleep with the snooker on. The snooker's great to go to sleep to.
Yes, and how did I forget that we used to talk about this?
John Virgo.
If you can't sleep, the number one thing is, if BBC are covering the snooker, or you can get snooker, maybe you can just put it on YouTube on your TV, put on a big snooker match, a big long match, and just close your eyes, and the wee sounds of the snooker balls being hit and going across the table, and the fact that the crowd are so reserved, it's just a recipe for sleep. Like, you'll just be lying there and you'll just hear, well, here he goes, going for a break of 68. He takes a shot at the black, and it's good. stuff there from Ronnie O'Sullivan. Someone in the crowd. Fuck up. Oh, no need for that. That man has been thrown out.
Quietly ejected.
Ladies and gentlemen, quiet please. It's the way to go.
Yeah.
It is definitely
good,
the way to go. So much so that if I go to a snooker hall with a mate, as soon as I take the first shot, I'm just out on the table.
Snooker halls, though, are very, very different places than championship snooker.
Snooker hall, I mean, I don't want
Remember
to say
frames?
anything libelous, but oh no, frames is dead on. But there's
It
one.
was rowdy, like,
There's one I used to go to with my dad.
not much
Wouldn't
snooker being
take the
played.
family. Let's leave it at that. You know, there's business being conducted at some of the tables, but it was good, and people used to smoke in it, and I liked it because I was a kid, and I was like, I'll probably smoke when I'm older, and then I realized I don't have the lungs for it. Have you guys seen, before we do listeners' questions, I've been watching something on Netflix I'm a big fan of, Bloodline?
No.
I started watching Bloodline. It's set in the Florida Keys. It's like a big Netflix original drama, and it's about a family of brothers and sisters and stuff, and one of the brothers comes back. He's like a drifter, and he's a bit dodgy, and he's been away, and he comes back, and he's like a real black sheep, and it's really good. The only thing is, everyone in every episode has like a bottle of beer. They live in the Florida Keys, so it's like, see-through water. I mean, all water's see-through, to be fair, but it's like clear water, white sand, palm trees, and they're always like sweating a wee bit because they live there, and everyone always just, no matter what the conversation or the setup is, just opens up a bottle of beer, sits with a bottle of beer. And we were out for my wife's granny's birthday on Saturday night, and I don't normally drink beer anymore, but I was like, I need some beers. But then I remembered I'm not cool enough to drink normal beers, so I had to get gluten-free beers, and I had to arrange to bring them to the hotel. I had to ask for a manager when I get there. I had to say, "Oh, I'm Shane," and she was like, "Come with me," and I had to like take them to a special fridge. I was assigned a barman, a personal barman. That, by the way, that's exactly what I'm about. I was given. I mean, he was allowed to serve other people as well, but he was mainly my friend.
Did you get raging when he was serving other people?
Yeah, I didn't like it. It's like seeing your barber cutting someone else's hair. You know that they have to do it, but you don't like it. Yeah. And he was called Michael. Actually, he was called Michael. So every time I wanted a beer, I'd go, "Michael, I need a drink, Michael. Where's my drink, Michael?"
As long as you didn't call him Big Mike, I'm fine.
Nah, behind the bar. You don't know if the bar behind the bar is raised or not. You know, it could be
real
deeper.
Hang up about this height.
I know. I'm not good at working out people's heights. So that was great, but yeah, I did drink gluten-free beer, and then I had like 4, and I was ready for bed. My eyes were gone. Could we do some fun before we do listeners' questions? Could you bring up celebrity heights, and could you ask me what the height of some celebrities are? Maybe there's like a list of like a lot of different celebrity heights, and I'll try and work out the height.
Start with some obvious ones.
Shaquille O'Neal, would Shaq be the most obvious maybe? 6'8".
Is it?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito.
That's what I was thinking of.
Danny DeVito, I think, is 5'2".
I'd say a flat 5. I don't know.
He's not on this list.
He hasn't made the list.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, 5'4".
5'7".
He's actually taller than a lot of people think. Yeah, 5'4" would be a bit like.
Danny DeVito, 147. No, sorry, 1.47 m. What's that in feet?
I don't know.
Hey Siri.
I only know height, or I only know feet.
Yes.
What is 1 meter 47 centimeters in feet and inches?
Great podcast content.
1 centimeter is 0.033 feet.
Oh, that is small. Like Danny DeVito, credit to him, is very, very good for being 0.003 feet.
Siri doesn't get me.
Imagine Danny DeVito trying to drag an Oscar off stage.
0.33. No, 0.033.
That's enjoyable.
Michael J. Fox.
Height? Don't know, it'd be hard to get an accurate measurement.
Evidently.
I'm gonna say, if you can get him, He's 5'5". Yes?
That is correct.
Yeah.
No way.
Yes. Yes.
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn, 6'4".
Nah. 3, I was going to say.
6'5".
6'5".
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller is 5'8", I think.
This is ridiculous.
Did I get it?
Yeah.
No way.
I told you I have a gift. And that's what disturbs me so much about you. You're.
Hold on, I thought the whole premise of this was going to be that you didn't know.
Yeah.
You couldn't know.
I didn't think I did, but now I realised I have a gift for it. I know people's heights.
Right. Shaq.
Shaq, 6'9".
7'1".
Jesus.
Shit. One more.
Paula Abdul.
Curveball.
5'3".
5'2".
Oh.
Enjoyable. All right, we've got loads of listeners' questions, so I'm gonna get them out. What are we at for time?
Aye.
Half an hour.
Half an hour.
Danny DeVito is 5 foot.
5 foot exactly. Well, he's grown a lot since the since being 0.003.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but we have a very, very quick sponsor message. Tea With Me podcast is sponsored by Limelight Belfast, the most famous venue for music and club nights in the country. Coming up, they have a load of gigs, and you can find out all about it on the Limelight website or their Facebook page. And they have student-friendly club nights 5 nights a week. See limelightbelfast.com and Limelight Belfast on Facebook for full listings and info! Back to the podcast. Thanks to everybody who sent in questions. We'll rifle through these. The Waffle Irish League podcast say, what's the best product with a cup of tea? I like what they've done there. Isn't just said biscuit. They're opening up to other things, because there are going to be, dirty perverts out there who like crisps with tea. I mean, that's horrible, isn't it?
You have like a wee... crisps shouldn't really be with tea.
No. If we say product, I mean, I'm going to say, well, speaking of product, toast. Toast and tea is a very, very good combination. It also works at pretty much any time of the day.
It's weird calling it toast and tea.
Toast and tea, you say tea and toast?
Tea and toast. Yeah.
Yeah, I maybe say tea and toast too. Although I don't have butter anymore, so I miss the days of just nice soft white bread with a lot of butter. Nowadays I have gluten-free brown bread with honey and jam. So the honey and jam kind of pimps it out a bit, but it's just not the same.
Quite the same.
But if we were going to say biscuit, honestly one of the best biscuits, and it's never really broke into the mainstream and become like a staple biscuit. Like it's a bit like, it's like Frank Ocean. Everybody knows it's good. It does all the major festivals. Like, it's going to be in all the major shops, but it's just not. It's like your mum and dad don't know about it. Fox's Vanessa biscuits, like buttery biscuit, 2 bits of butter, like a finger of buttery biscuit with a thin layer of chocolate in the middle. Do you know the ones I'm talking
I
about?
know the ones you mean.
See, if you're going to have those, put them in the fridge. Oh, I just remember my nanny.
Biscuit in the fridge?
Some biscuits in the... See, when you go on holiday, those like chocolate sandwich biscuits, like they're circular. You get them in like a big like cylinder, like a paper cylinder, and they're about this side. They're like giant Oreos, but it's like
BN with the happy faces. And
exactly like BNs, but they're circular. So you go to Spain, France, whatever, you get these. See those? Put those in the fridge, and when that chocolate is cold, my friend, you'll not regret it. Go on Skyscanner and have a look at flights to like Malaga or somewhere, and let's get us over, because they're incredible. But in terms of biscuits, digestive's good, rich tea is good. I've gone very mainstream there. I'm open to...
Yeah, rich tea. Out of those, rich tea is probably
Chocolate fingers.
nicer.
Chocolate fingers, yes, but you're not dipping, are you?
There is a school of thought that if you bite the end off of a chocolate finger,
Yeah.
both ends, put
Yeah.
that in the tea and use it as a straw.
I've heard this. Yeah.
See, to me, that's very,
controversial.
That's very immature. Like, that's a bit like people who go, I have chips with my McFlurry. Fuck off, dickhead. I actually like it. Yeah, I dip the chips into my. Fuck up. Sorry.
So is that a no?
I've done that
Yeah, you've done it because you
on
you've
occasion.
Done it because you want to get pussy at some point when you're younger. That's such a, you know, you're 15, you're out with a group of mates and there's girls there, and you say that. Oh, let me just this is what I do. You're like, I'm the guy who dips chips, and I'm mental.
Yeah.
I'm mental. You know, you fast forward 15 years, you're still doing that. You're what's called unemployed. Patrick Neal says, would you rather eat a kilogram of cheese every day or a kilogram of raw chicken every week? How much is a kilogram? 1 kg, so maybe like less than a cupful.
Nah,
It's hard for me to work out what a kilogram is because I bench like 500-600, so I don't really know how much one would be.
It's a reasonable amount, like, of
If
cheese.
If you eat a kilogram of raw chicken, if you eat a kilogram of raw chicken, you get sick, right?
Yeah.
Guaranteed you get sick, or
Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
right? Well then, cheese. Even though I've got a dairy allergy, it's gonna be either way. The result is I'm shitting. Either way. I mean, would I rather eat a kilogram of cheese every day or a kilogram of raw chicken every week? Neither. Gareth Hanna says, Are you a green tea man? And if so, what's your favourite flavour? Yes, I am a green tea man, and I should drink more green tea. I probably have 2-3 cups a week. I like green tea, but I do feel like if I'm out ordering it in like cafe, it's a waste of money. Tea will always feel like it's worth a bit of money to me, but green tea is literally hot water and just a wee bag in it. You know, that's it. It's just like, well, it's just that. I feel like I'm not getting bang for my buck. So in the house, I'd be more likely to have green tea. I like green tea, but you can't have it really with stuff.
Yeah. For the longest time, I didn't realise that green tea has more caffeine in it than a cup of tea, like regular tea. I always thought that it was just
I have uncaffeinated
no caffeine.
ones. I have uncaffeinated ones.
See, I like caffeine. And I was always like, nah, what's the point in drinking that green tea? And then someone said there's more caffeine in it.
Is caffeine an actual thing? Could you hold caffeine in your hand?
You can have like pure caffeine, can't you? Like,
So it's like
it's
a
like
powder
science. Yeah, I think I remember doing something like this in single award science, and it was like a white powder. Maybe
Yeah,
that
they get
wasn't
single
caffeine.
award science in just to make me feel shit.
Well, I did single award science. Single
Yeah, but
award's
that's
the worst.
Well, what's the best? I did double award. You did
Triple
single,
award.
Bet you did triple award.
Make your mind up.
You did single, triple award. What'd you eat in GCSEs?
Nice star, 4 A's and 4 C's, which is a widespread.
that is a rangy buffet, my friend. Dan?
4 B's, 4 C's, and a D.
Fuck you guys.
Hey man, we're all in the same room now.
Christopher Lynn says, Larne or the Craigan? I mean, it's a very, very geographically specific question. See, even though I slag Larne off, nowhere's bad or good. There's no place in the world that's bad or good. Everywhere's just, it has good bits and it has bad bits. The Craigan's in Derry. I've never been to the Craigan. I've been to Derry.
I
Used to live in Derry.
I used to live in Derry for 2 years, but I went back there a couple of years ago for an event. There's a place called The Bunker. Have you heard of this?
The Bunker, no.
In there, it's like an underground car park, but they use it for like music gigs. It's cool. But we stayed, a few mates stayed in an Airbnb, just something cheap and cheerful for the night. Just the place to put our heads down and, come back on the train the next day. It was in the Craigan, and it was basically a crack then. And throughout the night, like a guy was getting put out of his house just right beside our Airbnb. Not saying that's what all the Craigan's like, but just my anecdotal experience
when
of it
you
was
say
that.
cheap and cheerful, was it the sort of place that was that cheap they gave you 25 quid to stay in it?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right. Lauren, I like Lauren. I had a pleasurable experience going up there on a tour last year. Me and Aaron Butler went to a nice diner, like an American diner type restaurant, just out of the town in a retail park, and it was 7 out of 10 experience overall. Ella says, hit us with your favourite NI politician scandal. Well, I've a few to choose from. I don't think I really like any of them. Because the reality of it is, like, they should be, like, running the country. So when when you're like, you bloody bastard, you know, that's time where they could be, like, I don't know, fixing the health service. So, I don't know. I mean, everyone went mad for the Irish Robinson one, obviously. That's a lot of people's go-to. I actually went to school. The guy who she had the affair with was in my class. And someone said to me after it, like around the time, somebody went, did he seem like that sort of fella? What is the personality trait where you go, hang on, when he grows up, he's going to have an affair with the First Minister's wife? But he did. I mean, I called that years before. I said, trust me, mark my words, he will go on to have an affair with Irish Robinson. I can tell by the way he held his pen. That was a big, I mean, if you're saying favourite, you probably mean, like, what's the one I hated the most? See, in all honesty, right, this is an unpopular opinion, but that's what this podcast is. It's honesty. We're having a talk with tea. I am absolutely not mad at all the Ian Paisley Jr. stuff. And I'm no fan of Ian Paisley Jr., but the way he just, like, goes on holiday to the Maldives, lives it up, gets paid to go over, stays in luxury, and the fact that he repeatedly goes and does this sort of thing, fun. Good luck. Because everyone who's slagging him off for that is acting like, if that was me, no. Listen, if you were offered a fucking half-price ticket to go to Cairn Ryan, you'd do it. If you were offered fucking a discount meal on the Stena line, you'd be over in M&D's theme park having a great time on your company expense. And I get that his company expense is all of our money. Yeah. But fuck it. Fuck it. See if you can chance your arm and get away with stuff. Good luck to you. He went. Ask him, did he have a brilliant time? I bet you he had a brilliant time.
His tan speaks volumes.
His tan, yeah, he's fucking olive. So I would also like a politic, like he's not my constituency or whatever, and I wouldn't vote for him. But I like the idea that my politician has a good vitamin D levels because he's going to be on form. You know what I mean? Like, I'd say when he came back from the Maldives, if you asked him for anything, if you lived in his constituency, he'd be like, yeah, no worries. I'm having an argument with a neighbour about the height of a fence. Fuck it, we'll get the fence taken out. Ian, we're looking to have a wrestling ring built in the town centre of Ballymena here. Consider it done. You know, he'd be open to ideas. I like people that are, you know, he's a chancer. So fair play to him. Matthew Smith says, would you rather get the coronavirus or play right wing back a clock away? Again, a very niche and particular question. I think he's referring to when my football team played clock a couple of weeks ago and we got stuffed. And I actually wasn't even playing right wing back, so that speaks volumes about my performance. So would I rather get the coronavirus or play right wing back a clock away? Well, probably coronavirus, because I hate playing right wing back because you have to do way more running because you're playing in between defence and midfield. So I'd happily play right back or right wing, but right wing back up and down the channel, not worth it. So probably coronavirus, as long as I knew like it would be sweet, like as long as I'm just in bed for a couple of days, I'd be alright. Darren Fullerton says, local journalist Darren Fullerton says, like most other moderately sane people I know, do you subconsciously mark yourself out of 10 when you look in the mirror? An average Joe spectrum could be anywhere between 3.5 and 6. But what sort of ballpark are we talking about when Shane Todd steps in front of the mirror? And that's been liked. Just that question has been liked on Twitter by 2 people. So you know people are looking forward to the response here. And you guys are smiling here. I'm locking the phone for this one. We'll take a wee second to answer this. So Darren's saying most people when they look at themselves in the mirror think about assigning themselves a mark between 1 and 10. I don't do that. I don't do that because some days you could feel like you're a 10. Some days, we all know, guys, you could feel like a 9. So, I don't give myself a number. I give myself an adjective. I look in the mirror. Some days I'm like dweeb. Well, and other people are saying it too. You know, in my house. And some days I look in the mirror and I just go, whoa, who is that guy? And then I realize it's me. You know, I'm a right. Here's the thing, looks wise out of 10, right? I'm a comedy 11. It's just the way it is. I don't make the rules, but out of 10, when it comes to comedy, I'm an 11. Now, the good thing about that is, I'm an 11. The bad thing about that is, I'm a real life 7. We can deny it, we can debate it, but like with comedy, people be like, is that a fucking Hilfiger model, right? People are like, are you modeling for Hilfiger right now? In real life, I look like a Victorian butcher's son, and I don't know what I mean by that, but you know what I mean by that at the same time.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I mean. Like, I look like in Victorian times, the local butcher would be my dad, and I work in the butcher's place, but I'm not really like getting involved in anything. Like the butcher, like I do the cash register for the butcher. Penny farthing, please, for your ribs. But in comedy, I'm a fucking knockout. Boom, let's go. Mr. Loba. That says more for comedians than it does for me. I mean, like, honestly, comedy, I'm top of the mountain. Okay? Like, how does he look? How does he look like a female Russian power athlete? And also, like a hot librarian? I don't know. Real life, kind of average. Not... Real life, honestly, like, I'd probably say... I mean, I'm at least a 7. On a good day, at least a 7. I could be an 8, but I'm not like... Here's the thing, when you break me down, I do, yes, I've got weird fingers. My ears are probably slightly on the big side. One of my eyes is actually probably bigger than the other one. My nose is broken, so it's slightly out of shape. I have a big head, like physically I have a weird shaped head. And I've got really, really long arms. But I move quickly to get away from that. You know, I never really stay in the same place for that long. Like, because if people really worked out my face, I'd be like, oh, for Quasimodo. But I like to just stay in people's periphery. You know what I mean? So I'm always just doing that. But if you maybe got me face on for 7 seconds, you'd vomit. You'd just be sick. That's why I'm always on the move. So yeah, to sum up, comedy 11 out of 10, real life 7.3 to maybe 8.1. I don't know, like sometimes I'll pop an outfit on a holiday and you'll go, it doesn't. Is that our door?
I hope not.
No one's ever knocked our door before.
You did tell people on the very first podcast
Where we are?
that where exactly we are geographically.
Did I? I said what we're above.
Yeah.
Ah, that's a shame.
So we're now about to get murdered, basically.
Yeah.
Be good for ratings.
It would be real, like if someone comes
Hopefully
in
they
here,
took the time to lift the media out of both of our recorders and then
yeah,
upload it.
if you come in to kill us, upload the pod.
Yeah,
Upload the pod.
just that.
Okay, I got more questions. What what do you think I would be out of 10?
I'm just
Real life.
I'm more
By the way, I
admiring
can take it.
admiring the fact that whenever like your career teacher sat you down, it's like, you know, what are your skills? You were more scoping out the competition and go, what field could I go into where I could really excel in looks?
Well, I was
I
either
went
going
right
to
comedy.
yeah,
not
I had to
many.
go into a field where I was going to stand out looks wise, so I was either going to be a stand up or a Warhammer expert. You know. So what are you saying? 8 point,
We're friends.
8.2.
We're friends.
Yeah, so I can take it.
I'll.
Fucking 8.2. 8.1.
I think you were closer to the mark with your first real life 7.
Set on right. Just, yeah, we are. I'm not going to be raging here. Or anything, but you're going to say 7.
Yeah.
Dan,
I don't feel like we've known each other long enough to have this conversation, Shane.
you're right. Okay. Barry Mullen says, "What's the best way to make a cup of tea?" We go tea bag in, kettle just boil. I say just boil. Give it 30 seconds. I don't still want to hear the kettle bubbling. Tea bag in, water into that. Dip your tea bag. At no point should the tea bag still be in when the milk is in. Dip your tea bag. We'll open to the floor after. Dip your tea bag 12 to 15 times. Don't be in a rush either. Press it against the side. Get the last of that tea out. Throw the tea bag into the bin. Don't put it in the sink because that's just lazy. And then go over, as you're pouring your milk in, stir, because that's going to give you a better indication of what the overall colour is going to be. And then boom, you're done.
I think we touched on this in a previous episode, but a bit of milk while the tea bag is still in.
No, not for me.
You just wet it.
They might, yeah, basically the same way as you, but I tend not to give it as much aggressive stirring. I like to just let it sit and
You let the bag sit.
go through, and then I do the wee squeeze at the end
Yeah.
against the side. And then
Sometimes when I see people not do the squeeze at the end, I think, we can never truly be friends.
yeah.
You know? Aaron Harrison says, talk about the mystery surrounding ice cream vans, how they make their money, why they play their tune late at night, or do we already know the answer for this already? Look, there isn't a mystery around ice cream vans. This doesn't apply to all ice cream vans, but all I'm going to say is, I remember an ice cream van who used to drive about the estate out the road, and he sold everything bar ice creams. Like, if you wanted a 99, he couldn't help you, but if you wanted like a bottle of Glen's vodka or a Man United shirt with Shearer on the back, give him a shout. And Shearer didn't even play for Man United. I remember saying that to him once. I was like, mate, why does this have Shearer now in the back? He don't play for Man United. And he goes, don't worry about it, kid. He will. And he never did. You know, I was like, why would you have inside information's transfer dealings to the Premier League? You're an ice cream man. But look, ice cream men are going to be something that we will be very, very sad whenever they're forgotten. You know, when you don't have the local ice cream. Yeah, there's mystery around ice cream man. Why are they pumping out like selling ice cream? Like, where obviously that noise is to get the kids out going to buy ice cream. But I like it when ice cream men have, I wonder could I bring this up. I love it when ice cream men have like a remix of a song, but it's played in the ice cream style.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the ice cream man van style.
Mm-hmm.
Ice cream van song remix. So this kind of music. That's the DJ that made that. He's worried that people are going to nick it. Yeah, the ice cream man was great. Although, yes, a lot of the time when I was a kid, when the ice cream man came, I would have got an ice cream off him. But I would also have liked it. I would have got a Mars bar too. Like,
We probably had the same ice cream man. There wasn't like rival ice cream
Robert?
men.
remember we asked him if we could shoot something.
Down in
Seapark, and he was
Seapark?
like, yeah. He was great.
That wasn't my original ice cream man.
He was my ice cream man. He was a great ice cream man. But then it wasn't him. I think he took a bit of time out of the ice cream game. Like he to me is the original Mr. Whippy.
Okay.
He was an ice cream purist.
Did
He
anybody
knew his
around
ice
your
cream.
way call it the Pokemon?
The Pokemon? Oh yeah,
We never really had that.
the Pokemon.
I
Well,
went
you
to
said
my
the
friend's house in Ballyclare once, and he called it the Pokemon, and I was like, sorry,
And that
pardon?
Was, and that was just his uncle. Pokemon's coming around to give you a 69.
No ice cream sold in Ballyclare.
Can I get a 99? Take away 30 and you can get it. Chris Gullier says, 3 podcasts in and I don't know what tea bags you use. I think three dates in, I don't even know what you work at. So my question is, what tea bags do you use? How long is the tea bag? Look, you asked too many questions there. But the brand I use, we have talked about this. The brand I use,
This was on Sam's one.
Tetley, Nambari, Punjana. There's no tea bags I'm against.
Roberts, I looked this up after. Remember Sam's Nigerian Roberts tea? I think it actually is a thing.
Oh,
I
yeah?
don't think it's Nigerian. I think it's Kenyan.
We should probably give him a text about that.
Yeah. Public apology.
Chris says, also for the podcast, it's pronounced Geiler. Chris Geiler. Hey, Chris, I don't give a fuck. So just making you aware of that. Peter. I'm only joking. Sorry, Chris Gulliver. Peter Walker says, who do you think will win in a Mike Tyson versus Tyson Fury fight? Will Tyson be Tyson? I mean, Tyson Fury, Mike Tyson's pretty old now. He's retired. He's had a lot of punches to the head. He's let's just say he's a bit of a character. And Tyson Fury's like potentially the best heavyweight. He is the best heavyweight around at the minute, so he'd definitely win the fight. But them both in their prime, be good to see. Be two different styles and be good to see, but I don't know. I was going to get up for the fight. That was my plan. Buy it on BT Box Office because I'm tired of watching shitty streams. Buy it, turn my phone off, get up for it. But BT Sport didn't want my money. Wouldn't let me buy it. So I just watched it on YouTube the next morning. Jimmy Gordon says, what's the worst or most disgusting thing you'd be willing to do for a small fortune? I'd probably gig for a paramilitary. If it depends. If people didn't find out about it, I'd do a gig for a paramilitary or maybe some sort of like terrorist type guy. It like not locally though, because you don't want that look. But like if there was like an international
Do they have
terrorist,
conferences that you would get invited to?
would you mean would I do it if? Yeah,
Is that what you're thinking?
would be
That
the
there's a-
function?
there's
like,
a-
I take oil money. You know, people are like, Saudi Arabia, the human rights record. I wouldn't, the slag like WWE for going over there, boxers for going over there. 200 quid for 20 minutes. Yeah, I'd do it. Do it, not a problem. And I'd wear the flag, or double my fee and I would. Dermot Wallace says, if you make a cup of tea and forget about it, is it acceptable to reheat it in the microwave?
Oh,
What we can do there is move on.
Jesus.
We can move on and we can pretend that didn't happen. I think that's for the best.
Seek help, Dermot.
Claire O'Neal says on Instagram says, could you please follow the Shamrock Tenors? And you've tweeted them. The Shamrock Tenors are cruise ship singers. Let me see.
In 1891, a ship carrying 150 passengers. Passport when your old world disappears.
So, like, to answer the question, can I follow them? Without being harsh, no. Purely because I only follow comedians on Instagram and like mates. You know what I mean? Like actual mates. But I can certainly say that the Shamrock Tenors there have very nice waistcoats. I like their look. I probably like their music. If they do a lot of traditional Irish music, I probably like it. If the Shamrock Tenors were playing in the cafe below us at 11:30, I'd get a slice of carrot cake and I'd stay and watch them. So I would give them a doff of the cap, but I shan't give them a follow, Claire. But I like that you brought them to my attention. Rowan Tumulty says, I don't know if this is a podcast question. How's it going, mate? I'm having an 18th birthday. Oh no, I probably shouldn't read this out because he's given all the details. Would you be up for doing something? Okay. Your mate's uncle will be there. One Flying Irishman says, when people you barely know or talk about put up those doing a Facebook friends clear out post and you realize you make the cut, at first you think, great, I'm so cool. Then you end up thinking, why did this person keep me as their friend? They're definitely creeping on me and loving it. Yeah, I mean, people are very dramatic when they're like, I'm doing a cull, that's it. Too many fucking rats on here. Too many fucking snakes on Facebook putting their fucking fat nose in my business. Me and my boy are just trying to fucking... Me and my boy are just trying to fucking raise these ferrets and have a happy life. Don't need you getting... You can't do anything in this fucking town for fucking bastards with big eyes telling everyone about it. I'm clearing yous all out. And underneath it, some girl writes, just right, missus. She's looking to be kept on. 100% she's looking... Like, she knew she was at risk, so she's trying to make peace there. Yeah, I think it's funny when people do that. It takes very little nowadays for... I barely use Facebook, but it takes very, very little for me to delete someone from Facebook now. Like,
There's a cool thing that I've discovered when I'm working at home. Like, it's a Chrome extension, Facebook news feed suppressor or something that's called, and it suppresses the news feed, so you only get your messages and notifications. And it's really handy that you don't end up like, if you're trying to be productive,
Yeah.
you don't end up seeing and then looking at something like that and going, for fuck, what's she talking about? I'm sick of seeing that.
Someone called Jamie going, any good movies? Yeah, there is good movies, mate. Yeah, good movies have been made before. But I, like, right or wrong, I deleted someone last week. Someone that works, let's just say, in local broadcasting. Because, and I might be the dickhead there here, but they sent me a message saying, give this video a like. Obviously send it around loads of people. Delete. I don't know if that's wrong, but I just don't like that intrusiveness. I want friends on Facebook who are real friends who are just on the same plane. Like, let's just relax here. Let's look at each other's holiday photos. Let's see what's going on. Put up a picture of you fucking on holiday. I like it. Let me see what you're up to. That kind of thing. But don't ask me to specifically do things. Also, don't ever invite me to like anything. I'm 31. I probably like about 58 things. I'm keeping it at that. I have no space in my life to like any more things. I like what I like. The last thing that got in through the net, mushrooms. I never liked mushrooms. A couple of weeks ago, I went, let me see what's happening here. Tried them. I like mushrooms. Added to the list. Mushrooms are the 50th thing I like. I'm done. Yep, mate, that is not a podcast question. Also, stop messaging me. Cahir McKay says, not a podcast question. Not a podcast question. Here we go. Yep, we got a question from Matthew Mernon. He says, for this week's big question, have you ever skied? I mean, I don't know why you're curious about this, Matthew. I can only assume you're going to ski trip yourself. But have I ever skied? Yes. I have skied twice. And I don't mind coming out and saying it. I'm a tremendous skier. Like, I went skiing in first year and second year in school, back in the days of the Celtic Tiger, when everyone was just going on any trip you could think of. I remember one break time we went on a safari in Uganda, right? But yes, I've skied twice, and I really, really took to it. And I was like, I'm going to go skiing every year, and I haven't been since I was 13. But I loved it. Because skiing, you can't just decide to just go skiing. There's so much involved. I'd definitely go skiing again. In fact, when I was in Dubai a couple of years ago, I went skiing in the indoor mall, and that was unbelievable. I thought it was going to be shit. It was incredible. And I was still really good at it. Like, there's loads of things I try and do, and I'm not good at, like, try to learn guitar. Fucking bullshit. But skiing is just something I just picked up. And then I went in the indoor thing in Dubai, and there was no one else really there because it's an indoor skiing mall in Dubai. And I was just like, as good as I used to be. Maybe I should be a skier.
Yeah.
I should be a skier. Yeah, skiing's great. Ski trips are great. Have you either of you been skiing?
Never.
No, I've been indoor on a snowboard.
I went tobogganing at Mount Dober.
Oh.
It's about the height of it.
Yes. The best thing about ski trip is après ski. So, like, you're in the middle of nowhere, you have fucking snow, you can't get around places, and they usually have like a wee bar, so like late afternoon you go for a beer, go home, get changed out of your ski gear, go out that night, hit the slopes the next morning. It's really like refreshing the next day. But I remember going on school trips, and can I tell you guys a story?
Please do.
This guy, let me just make sure, because we'll finish on that. What time are we out there?
Yeah, just over an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't know. Okay, I have a couple other questions there, but I'll leave them the next week, and I'll tell you guys this story, right? We were on this ski trip in France. I'm going into no more specifics than that. And there was a guy, we used to get at the continental breakfast, you used to get these like wee fruit bars. So they're like wee mini cakes, like a little tiny slice of cake in a plastic wrapper, but they were horrible. So a guy who was in my year kept one, and just had it in his hand after breakfast. And we were about 12 stories up in this like ski hotel, and down below us there was like a wee street in this wee town, and it had a curb, a small road, and then the other side there was just like mounds and mounds of snow. And we were all like, for some reason, looking out, like somebody was like, look over there and blah blah. This guy was like, I'm gonna just get this fruit loaf and just wing it out the window, which is the most 13-year-old boy thing of all time. Right? He's like, I'm gonna throw this out the window, and everyone's like, all right. So he gets a fruit bar, and he doesn't just like drop it out, he throws it down. Now, we're at least 13 stories up, could have been more, and he wung it down, and then he walks away from the window laughing. Some people then look out the window. I swear this is true. An old lady is lying on her back in the street with a bag of shopping down by her side and a wee dog beside her on a lead. He had completely cleaned her out with this fruit loaf bar. And then somebody else goes back and looks. It might have been me. Someone else goes back and looks. And I swear there is a group of people on the street pointing up. And it was as if they were pointing to our exact room. And I remember us all coming away from the window, closing the window, leaving the room, running down to like, you know, a common area just to pretend to chill out. And I do not know whatever happened to that woman. I don't know if he fucking killed her.
Yeah, R.I.P.
But R.I.P. I don't think he killed her. I think he just fucking knocked her out with a fruit loaf. But yeah, that's a burden I've been carrying for a long time. And if the French PSNI, which are called the PSNI, if they want to ask me any questions, I'll tell you who did it, because I remember the guy who did it. I'm prepared to give you his name, like. But yeah, we should go skiing. We'll get the Patreon up and running in a couple of weeks. Get people to send us monthly donations, and we'll just fucking
fund
go
a
on a
ski
ski
trip.
trip. And we'll GoPro it all with like head cameras.
That's right.
And just release it as content. Guys, that was this week's Tea With Me podcast. If you'd like to do us a favour, you can go on Apple Podcasts. You can rate and review the podcast, and we'll just have a nice time. We'll get in the iTunes charts. We'll have a tea party. Your friends will be invited. Your children will be invited. Bring your ferret. Alright, so thanks very much for listening. See you next week.